Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Carolyn. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Women's Sports Weekly Pod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at womensportsweeklypod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on our listener experience zone, The Les. We had quite a 4th of July weekend.
Yes, last minute camping, and it was so fun. We went somewhere we've never been before, and I loved it.
Crossed another national park off our list. We went to the Great Sand Dunes in Colorado, and it was a little bit last minute. A previous coworker, I saw her on a work trip, and she let me know that they weren't able to use their spot over 4th of July, and I was like, we have no 4th of July plans. Let's go camp there. So it was really amazing, and one of the things I really love about Colorado is all the different terrains there are, and so it really felt like we were in the Middle East with the sand dunes, and at the same time just these huge mountains surrounding the sand dunes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has been a national park I've been wanting to check out, but we just haven't gotten around to it yet. So when you texted me and said your coworker had the opening and asked if we wanted it, I was like, yes.
Yeah. And I love to nerd out. And so when I was doing some research, when I got my map of the sand dunes from the national park, it's because of how the mountains are situated and how the water flows through them that the sand dunes are able to form. And it's just this amazing, amazing structure. And it looks man-made because it looks so out of place. It's just these sand dunes up against these really, really tall mountains. And so, yeah, it was just really amazing to see. We spent 2 nights there. And the first day we were there, it was really clear, but there's been a lot of wildfires, unfortunately, in Colorado, and we had a feeling that this would happen because there was no snow in the winter, and it affected skiing, but mostly the effect on the environment. If it doesn't snow in the winter, we're going to have a really bad wildfire season, and that's what we're seeing now. So the wildfire smoke came in on Saturday morning, and we were like, shoot, it smelled like smoke. You could feel it on your lungs, and it's just really, really unfortunate that we're having to do this, and we know why there's wildfires. Climate change is very real, and it just stinks to see the repercussions of this. Not only on, like, yes, it affects us personally, but these are people's homes, these are people's livelihoods, and we just see this happen over and over and over again. And I just wish we would take some more viable steps to making sure that this does not happen over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's terrible. There's a lot of wildfires happening in Colorado right now. We drove through one of them when we were headed to the sand dunes, and yeah, it's unfortunate for so many reasons. And yeah, we woke up that morning, we were like, oh no, you couldn't even see the blue in the sky. It was so crazy. We woke up at 5 a.m. on Saturday to do a sunrise hike, and I thought we were going to get these amazing views, and everything was just so hazy. And yeah, to your point, the day before it was so clear, to see the shift overnight was just insane.
Yeah, and then the dunes with the haze felt very apocalyptic. It was like, whoa, this is wild. But it was a great time. We got to just relax a lot. It was just us 2 camping, and our camp spot was beautiful. We got to read a lot.
Play cards.
Yeah, play cards, which is my favorite. It was just a really, really nice weekend.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. Poor Scout was not a huge fan of the sand, so we never made it to the top. We tried twice, and her little paws just weren't having it. We carried her a lot.
Yeah.
And then we pivoted and did a sand dunes overlook hike, so we got to see from up above. So overall, it's really, really pretty, and if you have the chance to check them out, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and with Scout, we made sure that the sand wasn't too hot, and so we were doing early morning hikes, but the sand, she just wasn't loving it getting caught in her paws.
Yeah.
She's a princess. She's a pretty, pretty princess.
And yeah, the world revolves around our pup, and we just make decisions based off of her, which you got to do if you have a dog. So.
Yes. And we're happy to do it.
Yeah.
We were like, well, she doesn't like it, so we're not doing it.
Currently looking at her sleeping on the pillow, and it's just the cutest thing ever. She's
She
very happy to be home.
We love her so much. Then on the way home, we were like, it was a Saturday when we left, and we're like, okay, let's take our time. And so we stopped in a mountain town called Salida in Colorado on our way home and loved it. We got a beer. We went to a farmer's market. At the farmer's market, there were, oh my God, there were Amish people selling donuts and baked goods. I've had a lot of donuts in my life. This was the best donut I have ever had. Just a simple glazed donut. It was like, how do I describe it? It was like just the right amount of sugar.
And it was just warm and fluffy. It was incredible.
Incredible. And then I also got a blueberry lemon loaf from them to have for the week. It's already halfway gone, but I don't know what they do. I think I'm going to go be Amish for a little while, or actually, because I don't really bake that much, I might send you to go be Amish for a little while, and then you can get all the secrets and bring them back.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I'd last one day.
When I was paying for the donut, first of all, I only had singles from Drag Brunch, and they were like crisp singles.
Yep.
And I was in short black shorts, a black tank top cut off, crop top, belly out, tattoos out. There were two men handling the money. They could not even look me in the eye, but it was wonderful. Then we went to a brewery, got a good beer, got to see a 4th of July parade a little bit, but didn't stick around too long for that. It was too hot and it was too crowded.
So hot. But we did go down by the river and let Scout go in the river for a little bit. And I tried to get her in further, but she, again, is scared of water. Our dog is a princess.
Very, very princess. She has webbed feet, so she knows how to swim.
Yes.
She just doesn't love it. She likes to get her feet in, but she doesn't want to go any farther than that, and she doesn't want you to pull her in. She just likes to do her own thing.
Yeah, but that town is really cool. We have heard great things about it, and we've just never actually spent any time there, so we will definitely be back.
For sure. On top of that, Danielle, you had off this past week from your regular job, and you did some amazing stuff around the house, which I'm always so impressed by. So we have painted every room in our house except for our kitchen and our 2 bathrooms.
Yes.
And so you took on this past week kitchen and bathroom downstairs.
Yes, it needed to happen. We've been saying for 3 years our kitchen needs to get done, but we've done a lot of other different projects, but it was driving me insane, and I was like, I must do this.
So you picked out this really great deep green color for our dining room, and then our kitchen is right behind our dining room, and our kitchen was painted this like
Barney purple.
And so together with the purple and the green, it was giving Barney.
Yes.
And I was like, we have to change this.
Terrible.
And you did a great job painting, and then you did the bathroom downstairs as well, and everything looks so good. It's amazing what a fresh coat of paint can do.
Yeah. I was upset because I thought it would take me a day to do all this. But as most things in a 100-year-old house, nothing takes just a day. Because also, the previous owner of this house put this plastic, it's supposed to look like a tin
metal
ceiling, but it wasn't done well.
Yeah.
And you could see where the pieces were coming down. And when I started ripping them down, I was like, oh no. The amount of glue.
I did tell you don't do this.
The amount of glue under that was so bad.
Yeah. All over the ceiling.
So bad. So I had to rip that down. I was scraping glue off for hours and hours and hours and still didn't get it all off. Now we have a textured ceiling. R.I.P.
A textured glue ceiling.
And our cabinets are very high up, so we don't spend so much time up there. It was not very clean up there, so I was also scrubbing that. So I had my work cut out for me.
Thank you for doing that.
And yeah, but now that everything's painted, it just looks so much better. And I'm just happy that we don't have that heinous purple in our kitchen anymore.
Yeah. Our home continues to feel a little bit more homier. We're creating these nice spaces for ourselves. I really appreciate it.
Yes. And just like that, my week off is over.
I know. Back at it.
Yeah.
Back at it. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. I know that if you follow us on social media, you have seen a change in our social media, and it looks really good.
Yeah, it's been great.
So we have an intern. Her name is Chloe, and she has been working with us for the past 2 months now. On our social media, and she is doing such an amazing job. We really love having her creativity and expertise on our team, and she has just made such a difference and made our lives so much better, and just knows social media and just makes these amazing posts and takes ideas and puts them together and makes them look so visually appealing. Unfortunately, Chloe is not with us forever, and her internship ends in August, and we actually did this purposely We wanted to see, one, if we liked having a student intern, which we do, and two, we wanted to create a sprint format for the students. So we didn't want it to get stale for them. We wanted to be like, here's your time period. What can you do to help us? And so Chloe's internship ends in August, and we are looking to hire a new student intern to begin in September. So Chloe's still with us for a while, but we need to get into the process of hiring again for September. And so we are looking for a social media marketing intern for the fall. You'll have the freedom to create, experiment, and bring your own voice and ideas to the table to our social media channels. This will be from September to December in 2026. The schedule is flexible. You can work Monday through Sunday any times that you want, but we are looking for someone who could work 20 hours per week. You can do this from anywhere in the US, so it is remote. And this is an unpaid internship. We are looking for a current student or recent graduate in marketing, communications, or a related field who has a strong understanding of both Instagram and TikTok. We would love if they had a passion for women's sports and storytelling. You will receive, as part of this internship, if you apply and are chosen for it, hands-on experience shaping and executing a social media strategy and a portfolio of real-world content and campaigns you've created. So if you know someone or you are that someone, there's a link to apply in our Instagram, in our Linktree bio, and in the show notes of this episode. The application closes on Friday, July 31st, 2026.
Come work with us.
I promise we're nice. So please, please, please spread the word. We would love to have another student work with us, and we need all the help we can get.
Yes. All right. With that, let's get into the highlight reel for this week. We are going to start with the Commissioner's Cup. The New York Liberty are 2026 WNBA Commissioner's Cup champions after defeating the Las Vegas Aces. In this game, they beat the Aces 93-85, and this took place on June 30th at the Barclays Center, so it was a home game for the Liberty. With this win, New York became the first franchise to win multiple cup titles, and Breanna Stewart became the tournament's first two-time MVP. They did not win this last year, so there hasn't been any team that has won back-to-back, but this is the first team to have won it twice.
Got it. Serena Ionescu and Stewie combined for 51 points in this game. And for the Aces, Jackie Young scored a game-high 31 points for Las Vegas, but they were playing without A'ja Wilson, who was injured for this game.
And obviously, you're missing the league's MVP, so that was a huge miss for the Aces during this game. It would have been a different game if A'ja Wilson was playing.
Yeah, and won A'ja Wilson's points, but Stewie was allowed to do so much because A'ja Wilson wasn't there.
Yeah, her defensive presence, her offensive presence, just overall, her whole game was missing.
But let's give some credit to the New York Liberty. The Aces took their first and only lead of the game with 7 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the fourth quarter to make it 71-69, but then New York immediately subbed back in Serena Ionescu and Breanna Stewart, and they immediately went on a 12-0 run to just seal the deal.
Yeah, and Breanna Stewart had 25 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So well-deserved MVP status right there for this game.
For sure. And with this, the New York Liberty received $30,000 per player for winning the Commissioner's Cup. And the MVP, Breanna Stewart, took home an extra $10,000 bonus for getting MVP. And the team's nonprofit that they chose also received $10,000 in charitable donation.
I love that. A nice $30,000 bonus mid-season. I would take that.
Yes. And the Aces don't go home empty-handed either, which is great. They took home $10,000 per player with a $5,000 donation to their chosen charity.
That's great.
And what I love about this is yes, some players are going to take home that $30,000, but the big players like Breanna Stewart and Serena Ionescu, before they even won the game, they said that they would be giving their money to the developmental players on the team if they won, because the developmental players don't get any of the money associated with the Commissioner's Cup.
That's really nice. And they have the money to do that, right? There's sponsorships outside of play and all this stuff. But
they're getting paid a lot.
It's nice that they're able to do that.
For sure. And I just love to see that. And I love that the larger players are like, no, our developmental players are so important to us and they deserve some recognition. And so to even do that in the media, to give them that recognition, I think is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And the New York Liberty celebrated hard. I saw videos of them, champagne showers in the locker room after the game. So they definitely had fun with this win.
Yeah, it's just cool to have something like middle of the season that gives people a reason to celebrate. I also think when you put that added pressure on, you get to see how teams act and react. And I think it's a good test for the Liberty and the Aces, no matter what, in the middle of the season of like, how do you do under pressure?
Yeah, definitely. Next thing we're going to talk about is Kelsey Pfendler. We spoke about her a few weeks ago.
Was it a few weeks ago or last week?
No, it was a few weeks ago.
Really? I'm so confused.
We absolutely did not talk about her last week.
You're right. We didn't.
We talked about her a few weeks ago. As a reminder, she is a solo rower, or was, or is.
She's still alive.
So she's just not on her journey anymore. But she's a solo rower who became the first American woman to row across the Mid-Pacific and completed a record-breaking journey from California to Hawaii.
Yes. So last Friday, she pulled into a Honolulu harbor on her 21-foot rowboat, Lily, and she finished this journey in just under 44 days. And the exact time was 43 days, 17 hours, 55 minutes, and 59 seconds. She crossed the finish line at 11:54 p.m. Pacific time on July 3rd in Hawaii.
I know it was late, and I'm sure it was not light out. But if I was ending a row like that anywhere, I think Hawaii would be my choice.
Yeah. People are screaming for her.
I've never been to Hawaii, but it looks insanely beautiful. Maybe she slept for 3 days after this road trip.
I don't know. I hope she's still sleeping.
Yeah, but I also hope she's enjoying Hawaii because she deserves it.
Yeah, when she got off the boat, she was just covered in lace. Everyone she was just placing lace. They were like up to above her head. She did look a little overwhelmed. And like when you're on a boat for that long, solo by yourself, and you also have to think she's not moving, like she can't walk on the boat. So she's been in the same position, bending her knees, straightening them, or like laying flat. Maybe,
or in the ocean,
but not walking for a very long time. So that must have just been very strange to like be on land.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just thinking about the movie Castaway and how he only had Wilson to talk to, and she's literally just been talking into her phone for how many days? I'm sure she was able to call people or whatever with some service, but it's not the same. She's been alone on this boat for over a month. So yeah, I can't imagine how overwhelming, and she must be exhausted.
Yes, she wasn't sleeping a lot. We knew that. She was sleeping for like, I think the most she slept was 2.5 hours at a time, but most of the time it was less than that. And she just cruised through this. She did so well. So her goal was to be the first American woman to cross and become the youngest and fastest woman to row solo from Monterey, California to Hawaii. So she did all of that. But she also broke the overall record for this row. She was faster than the previous comparable female record of Leah Ditton of 86 days and the male record holder's 52 days. So she cut that down to 43. Just really, really amazing. And I just think women are so amazing at endurance sports. And like, I just think our ability to endure is really, really high.
Yeah, we've talked about this with endurance running, like ultra marathons. The further the distance, the better women do over the men. Yeah. And it's just really cool. And here's another example of that.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I could do this at all, but I think I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but I've definitely told you before, like we'll do things at the gym and they'll say max sit-ups. And I'm like, give me a number, because you tell me max sit-ups, I will just go and go. I know how to endure and I know how to be in pain. If you tell me to walk with something for as long as I can, I will look at the person next to me and be like, I will walk longer than this person next to me. I don't know. I don't have this mindset. I would not want to be alone, but I just think women in general have this like, okay, game. So what I have to do at the gym, and I feel like I'm doing a humble brag. I have to give myself a number because I'm just like, I will just go and hurt myself if you don't give me a number.
I give myself a number when they say max, because I'm like, well, also I'm not as strong as you, so I just fail quicker. But yeah, you got to give yourself a number.
But you endure. You do it on runs all the time.
Running,
we're like, I don't
different.
Do that on runs.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. We went for a run today together, and like the first 2 miles, it's just a mental war with myself where I'm like, don't stop. You don't need to stop. You're okay. You're really okay. Just keep going. And I make myself sick. I'm like, I'm dizzy. I'm like, no, you're not dizzy. Just keep going. Listen to the song that's on. And so it's interesting, like in certain ways I can't endure. And then in some I'm like, game on, let's go.
Yeah, it is. With Kelsey, though, another thing I hope for her, I hope she has some fruit and some fresh veggies, because when we talked about her a few weeks ago, we shared that she's been eating a lot of processed foods. I can't imagine a month and a half of just like all that food that she's been eating. Another great reason to be in Hawaii is getting fresh foods.
Yeah, like good coffee, because she was having like not good coffee, and some fresh fruit. Yeah, maybe something from a fridge like yogurt sounds really good. Okay, so Kelsey Pfendler finishes her journey. The only sad part to me was that directly off of the boat, she jumped into a man's arms.
Dang.
And I thought that she could be one of us.
Is it her boyfriend?
I'm pretty sure it was her boyfriend, because in another video, I heard someone else say, oh, you're such a good boyfriend. And I was like, dang. She could have been on our side, but she did jump into a man's arms. We won't hold it against her.
No.
Just a really amazing journey, and really cool that we got to be a part of it by watching her social media every day. Very cool to see happen this past July 4th weekend. There's nothing more American than a woman doing something by herself and getting all the credit for it.
We love to see it.
Love it. All right, let's talk about something that's not very American.
Because it's not played in the USA?
Yes.
Wimbledon. We are switching gears to tennis, starting with Serena Williams, who is back, baby.
Serena Williams did return to Grand Slam tennis at Wimbledon, but it was over pretty quickly. Actually, not pretty quickly. She took this to 3 sets, but she did end up losing in the first round of Wimbledon. I watched the match, and she looked pretty good. A little rusty, but still very powerful, still very much Serena. And you could tell she was nervous. I think her coach said halfway through the first set, or it might have been even into the second, but at some point her coach said to Venus Williams, who was sitting in the box, like, okay, I think she actually just got rid of her nerves, but it took her a while to get there. So she ended up losing this in 3 sets to Australia's Maya Joint, 6-3, 6-7, 6-3. So she won the second set, but ended up losing the third. And this has been giving me very much Carrie Soto is back vibes.
Oh, if you're listening to this and you have not read that book, please read it, because it is so good.
It's wonderful. So Carrie Soto is Back is a book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Is that her name? And it's a really, really good book about tennis and about a player who comes back after retirement and is just a fierce competitor. And it's also a great story about a relationship with her dad. And I just loved it so much. And there were rumors that, and I think they were confirmed, that Serena Williams was going to be a producer on a movie adaptation, or
it was a show,
a TV adaptation of Carrie Soto is Back.
Which I have all my fingers and toes crossed that this is true.
I wonder, though, if she's just like, I'm not going to make the show. I'm just going to do it myself. As a reminder, Serena Williams is 44 years old. This was her first professional singles match in 4 years. Her last appearance at Wimbledon was actually in 2022. And unfortunately, at the end of this match, she did injure her right knee. And then she was scheduled to do doubles with Venus Williams, but had to also withdraw from doubles to heal up her knee. It doesn't sound like this is like a major injury, just something that she couldn't play through, probably at risk of injuring it more. I'm happy if Serena is happy. There's people like, when can you just give it up? But we know with these athletes that they have this competitive mindset, and if they think they still have it, why not? And it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother you.
Also, we both played sports growing up, and obviously not nearly at the same level as these athletes. But when I stopped playing basketball, for example, like when my college career ended, I was like, what am I without basketball? And basketball wasn't even my whole life. Like these professional athletes, especially someone like Serena, who's at the top of the sport. Yeah. It's not going to be easy for them to just give it up and pivot. You're thinking about your identity. Like tennis is wrapped into her identity. That's all she's known. So it's not just going to be easy to give up. And I can't imagine with the free time too that you have after leaving a sport, it must drive those athletes insane.
Yeah, and I think if there's any little spark that you might have more in the tank, I don't know how you leave that alone. if I had that, yeah, I would be doing the same thing, chasing that.
Yep.
And I think that is probably normal for any human to be like, if I have a little bit left in the tank, why wouldn't I keep trying?
Yeah.
My joint after was like, I've looked up to Serena my whole life. And then you get the chance to play her. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah. I watched some of this match and I was like, oh, this girl is so young.
Yeah. So young. So young.
Yeah.
But we're happy to see Serena back. It sounds like we could see her at the US Open as a wild card as well. So like I said, I'm happy to watch more Serena matches. So
yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Love to see her play.
Also, within this Wimbledon, the top 3 women in the world are out of the tournament. So number 2, Elena Rybakina, was beat by Belgium's Elise Mertens in 3 sets. Elise is number 25 in the world, and this happened in the 3rd round. And then also in the 3rd round, number 29 in the world, Alexandra Ila from the Philippines beat number 3, Iga Swiatek, in 2 sets in the 3rd round. Iga was not happy after that match. And then Naomi Osaka, number 14, beat Aryna Sabalenka, number 1 in the world, in the round of 16 in 2 sets, and Naomi Osaka looked good. She is wearing her Wimbledon white. She has this robe that she comes out in. Her fashion is always on point, but her serve looked incredible. She looked confident, and I love to see a confident Naomi Osaka.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wonder if Arena's going to be okay, because I feel like she was not okay after her last tournament loss, so yikes.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to say I don't really care.
I'm just saying she's number 1 and be beat by number 14. And obviously Naomi Osaka's no one to sneeze at.
Yeah.
I know how good she is and it's cool to see her win. I just always wonder what goes through Aryna Sabalenka's head.
Yes. And this opens up Wimbledon for the entire rest of the field, which I just think is awesome and fun. So it's going to make for a very fun rest of the week.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our updates for the week, starting with Run Club. We have Run Club this Thursday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time here in Denver at the 99ers Sports Bar. If you listen to our podcast, we share a secret word each week. And if you share that word with the bartenders, you will get 50% off your first draft after our run each week. The secret word this week is Wimbledon.
Wimbledon. We also need to take this time to ask you to please rate and subscribe to the podcast. We create, produce, and edit the podcast all by ourselves. So if you want to support us, please rate, subscribe, give us a positive review, and share the podcast with people you love. It goes such a long way. Thank you to everyone who has rated the podcast so far. If you send us a screenshot of your 5-star rating, we will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker for free in the mail.
All right, let's get into our deep dive for the week.
We are talking about the Prefontaine Classic. The Prefontaine Classic is a track and field meet held at the University of Oregon in Eugene. I have family in Eugene.
Yeah, why haven't we visited?
I know. We need to go.
I really want to go there.
So this event is organized by the Oregon Track Club, and it was previously one of the IAAF Grand Prix events, but is now part of the Diamond League. The meet is one of the few international competitions to host the imperial distances of the mile run and 2-mile run. So usually they have the, 1600 meter, but this is actually specifically the mile run and the 2-mile run. So we're going to talk about the mile run.
Yes, and we are specifically going to be talking about Nikki Hiltz, who won this race with a time of 4 minutes, 17.49 seconds.
Great. I was wondering how you were going to do that. I was like 17 and 49 milliseconds. Like, what is that? 17.49 sounds perfect.
And Nikki Hiltz, really, it was just really fun to watch them take the lead at the end to win this. But why don't we get into what happened here?
Yeah, they were sitting in the middle for the most of the time. And then that last lap came around and chaos just ensued. Like everyone just kind of went a little bit crazy. But they beat frontrunner and world record holder Kenyan runner Faith Kipyegon, who holds the official world record for the fastest outdoor women's mile with a time of 4 minutes, 7.64 seconds.
So that still stands.
That still stands. This race was 10 seconds behind that.
Yep.
And Nikki Hiltz was able to win. Nikki Hiltz became the first person to beat Kipyegon in a 1500 meter or mile track race in 5 years.
Incredible. And I know we've talked about Nikki Hiltz in the past, but Nikki Hiltz is a trans and non-binary runner using they, them pronouns. And they came out on March 31st, 2021 on International Transgender Day of Visibility, which is obviously a significant day. And we've read an article about Nikki Hiltz in the past that actually Frankie De La Creta wrote.
Friend of the show.
Yes. And just how Nikki had talked about after they came out, how much better they started to run and how much better they started to feel, and just that weight literally lifted off of them.
For sure. And I've had this theory for a while that once you come out, you get hotter. And I think it's true for Nikki Hiltz, but also in the sense of their running, like they have just taken off. So before coming out, they had two major wins. The 2018 NCAA outdoor 1500 meter when they were running for Arkansas, and then the 2019 USATF, USA Track and Field Grand Blue Mile. That's two major wins before coming out in 2021. After they came out in 2021, they have had 11 major wins. It's incredible.
And that's just from 2021 to now 2026.
I just think it speaks to how important it is to be your true self. And people do get better, especially with long distance running as they get older. So there's that as well. But
I wouldn't call a mile long distance, though.
You wouldn't? Like
I mean,
more endurance?
It's not a sprint.
Yeah. So what would you call a mile? Because it's not like a 200 meter sprint. So it is more endurance than a marathon.
More endurance than a marathon?
It is more endurance than a sprint, less endurance than a marathon.
Yeah.
But do you think a mile is closer to a marathon or closer to a 200 meter?
A 200 meter.
No, I don't think so. Like, I know mathematically they are.
Let's see what the internet says.
You're
I'm just
gonna look
curious.
it up?
Is a mile race considered a long distance?
What does AI say?
1 mile race is generally classified as a middle distance event, not a long distance race.
Okay.
While it requires significant stamina, the pace is too fast to be considered a true long distance running.
Okay, so what's middle distance? The mile, is there anything else?
Middle distance, the mile, which is 1,609 meters exactly.
1,500, 1,600.
Typically grouped with the 800 meter and the 1,500 meter, requiring a mix of speed and endurance.
Got it.
They're saying that the long distance are defined as races covering 3,000 meters or longer, which is 1.9 miles. So It's close.
It is close. What even were we talking about?
You were saying that people in general get faster in long distance as they age. So
Correct.
That's why I was just saying I don't necessarily think it's long distance, but I know what you're saying.
Yes. However, that usually peaks in like their 20s. Nikki Hiltz is 31 years old and is just finding their stride. I'm so excited for them. I'm so excited they're doing so well. In 2026 alone, this is their third major win. And I just think it's really, really incredible. And they were out there racing this past weekend in this all blue Lululemon outfit. They just stuck out in this beautiful way. And I'm just so happy for them. On top of that, they just got engaged in May to fellow distance runner Emma G. And it's just a really cool story to watch.
It is. Does that make you want to run more with me?
No.
Power
no,
couple.
No.
Do you ever see them post their workouts? Nikki and Emma do a lot of workouts together, and you don't want that to be us?
I don't actually, no. But you see that and you're like, oh, that could be us.
I wish you would run more with me and like it.
You've been asking me to run with you recently, and I did not want to create our run club, but I love now just being like, just ask someone from Run Club. I'm not doing it. You've got like 15 new friends who would be willing to run with you.
You're such a brat.
Who could take Instagram pictures with you.
You're such a brat.
So you could look like Nikki Hiltz and Emma G.
Wow.
No, I see Nikki Hiltz and their partner, and I'm like, this is such a cool, in spite of everything happening in the US, it's so cool to see Nikki Hiltz continue to win and continue to step into themselves. And I think it's a really great lesson. And for me personally, I'm trying to find ways over and over again of how to be more myself, how to step in and be more myself. And I think there's this fear for me that I won't be loved or I'll be ridiculed if I step into who I really feel like I am and don't put up any fronts. And then to see Nikki Hiltz just do that and stand so clearly of where they are, of who they are, of this is what I stand for, and win, that's the beauty of all of it to me.
Well said.
But what else can we do together that you would feel good about?
I go to the gym and lift with you, even though I don't like lifting, but I actually do it for myself.
Yeah, and I ran with you today, and
You
didn't even have to ask me. I said, I'm going to come.
And I turned to you at one point in the run, and I said, how you doing? And you looked back at me and you said, I can't talk right now.
That was in the first couple miles when I was having a lot of mental talk. But I will say, the moment that I was like, this is another thing that I'm working on, not withholding my feelings. So I'm trying really hard recently to be like, this is exactly how I feel, and not waiting for the good moment to tell you exactly how I'm feeling. It's something that I've been working on. So I was like, tell Danielle how you're feeling. And I was like, I wish I had something to drink right now.
Yeah.
And you were like, there's a water fountain right there. And I was like, wow, it's so amazing that when I tell Danielle what I want, she just magically appears with it. And it's another good lesson for me. But we go over to the water fountain and I put my head underneath and get my hat all wet and then get a few sips of water. And then I felt great. And I was like, Carolyn, just tell people what you need when you need it.
Yeah. You like to suffer like when you're sick. And I'm like, well, did you take any cold medicine? And you were like, no. And I'm like, why? I don't know. So I'm glad you told me you need water because, yes, we were very close to a water fountain. I was happy to stop and it makes everything better.
It does. It does. And then I was able to chat a little bit more after we took a little bit of a water break. It's hot everywhere.
So hot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a hot day. Okay, so that's Nikki Hiltz. Congratulations to them. Very cool to see. We'll continue to watch them just do great things.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, let's talk about what we are looking forward to this week. Carolyn, what do you have for us?
The quarterfinals for Wimbledon continue today, Wednesday, July 8th, and then the semifinals obviously follow. And then the finals will be this Saturday, July 11th at a to be determined time. So keep your eyes open for that. We will be watching.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to?
So the Indiana Fever take on the Phoenix Mercury on Thursday, July 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern on Prime. The last time they played, there was a controversial call called after the game. And I'm sure you all saw the videos at this point, but Alyssa Thomas put a closed fist on Caitlin Clark's neck. Nothing was called during the game. And then after the game, they called it a retroactive flagrant 2 foul. And with that, Alyssa Thomas received a 1-game suspension. So there has been a ton of talks about this since then.
Yeah. And we've talked about this on the podcast before, but there are certain times where male friends in my life talk to me about women's sports and they don't get anything on their algorithm about Marina Mabry's 53 points or the quadruple overtime, but they do get a still shot of Alyssa Thomas on top of Caitlin Clark. And if you're to watch this video in real time and with the context of the game, you would see that it was within the game. Do I understand why they called the foul? Yes. You had a closed fist on someone's neck. Do I think she should have received a suspension? No. And I hate that we have to continue to have this conversation and that this is what makes it into mainstream media. So I'm doing air quotes because it's like media that hits men, I guess, is what we call mainstream media. And we just have to continue to have this conversation around this dumb narrative that players in the WNBA are out to get Caitlin Clark, which is just so untrue. And if you were to watch other WNBA games, you would know that that is so untrue. I get sick of having the conversation, which is why we didn't talk about it last week. This will be an interesting game to watch because there's been so much around it. On top of that, Alyssa Thomas has been getting death threats and, you know, just the most racist, which is really what I think this is all about, like just an excuse to be racist to someone. Caitlin Clark supporters say that the WNBA is not doing the right thing with Caitlin Clark. And I don't agree with that statement, but I do think the WNBA does not handle anything well around Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't. They play into this narrative, and if you were to watch other games, flagrant 2 should be called all the time. Then if you're going to distill it down to one still shot, you would be calling a lot of flagrant 2s all the time. And they create an environment where they don't come forward and say how they made decisions or what they're doing to make sure that referees are better. And so everyone creates a story around it because they're not filling in any of the gaps. And I think it's really, really unfortunate for all the players in the league, including Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So It'll be interesting to see this game. Check it out.
And that's all we're going to say about it. It's just, it gets to be too much. I don't want to spend our time talking about it. I know you don't because you're not saying anything. But I do think we have to talk about it. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it, and you can't even look at me, but like the reason why I wanted to talk about it.
That in there.
I know. I put this at the end on purpose because I didn't want to spend the whole episode talking about it. But there is so much media narrative that is untrue, misinformed, and we are well informed. And we don't want to talk about it because we're sick of talking about it and because there's other stories. But I do think we have to talk about it in a way that's truthful, in a way that provides context, because not many other outlets are. Some outlets are doing a great job doing it, but I don't know if it's hitting the mainstream. I know our podcast is not hitting the mainstream. However, I just think it might be helpful for people to hear, and I just want more of that out in the world.
Yeah. And I think most of our listeners probably agree with us, or they wouldn't be listening anymore.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But maybe our listeners who have male friends who have the same experience that we do, where the only time men talk to us about women's sports is around some kind of forced drama about Caitlin Clark. And it's just like, geez Louise. Like the amount of people who are like, what's going on with Sophie Cunningham? I was like, I can't talk about Sophie Cunningham. I do not care about her. It's very frustrating. Okay, that's my spiel for today. Anything else, Danielle?
You covered it.
On that is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.